Listen up. Life doesn't ask if you're ready for the storm, it just shows up. And when it does, you have two choices: breakdown or breakthrough. Today, we're talking about mental toughness, the weapon you need to overcome those negative feelings holding you back. Everything starts with purpose. Without it, you're like a ship lost at sea, drifting wherever the waves of life decide to push you. Purpose is your anchor. It keeps you grounded when the storms of negativity come crashing in. But let me tell you this, finding your purpose isn't a one-time thing. It's a process, a journey that requires you to dig deep and ask yourself the hard questions. Why do you wake up in the morning? What's the fire in your soul that nothing can extinguish? It's not enough to just exist. You need to have a reason to fight, to keep moving forward when everything in you says stop. Purpose is what transforms it's what makes the pain worth it, the struggle meaningful. Think about it. Every great achievement, every incredible feat of resilience started with someone who knew their purpose. They weren't just going through the motions. They had a vision, a mission that guided every step. Purpose gives you clarity. When life throws negativity at you, purpose helps you filter out the noise and focus on what truly matters. It keeps you from being overwhelmed by the chaos. When you define your purpose, you're no longer reactive, you're proactive. You stop letting external circumstances dictate your mindset and start taking control. Purpose is the reason you push past the fear, the doubt, and the frustration. It's the compass that keeps you on course, even when the road gets rough. The stronger your purpose, the harder it is for negativity to knock you off track. Now, here's the thing about purpose: it's personal. It's not about what someone else thinks you should do or who they think you should be. It's about you, your dreams, your passions, your unique contribution to the world. It's what makes you come alive. But finding it requires effort. You have to be willing to sit with yourself, reflect, and confront the uncomfortable truths. It's about peeling back the layers of what society expects of you and uncovering what you truly desire. When you have a defined purpose, your perspective shifts. Suddenly, the setbacks don't seem as permanent. The criticism doesn't sting as much. The fear doesn't paralyze you the way it used to. Because now you're operating from a place of conviction, not convenience. Life will always throw challenges your way, things you didn't ask for, things you can't change. But mental toughness starts with understanding one critical truth: you don't have to control everything. You only need to control what's within your power. This isn't about giving up. It's about being smart with your energy. Too often, we waste precious time and mental strength fighting battles we can't win because they're not ours to fight. Think about it. You can't control the weather, but you can decide whether to bring an umbrella. You can't control someone else's opinion of you, but you can choose how you respond. You can't always control the outcome of a situation, but you can control the effort you put into it. This isn't denial, it's wisdom. It's knowing where to channel your focus so you stay grounded instead of scattered. When you focus on what you can control, you create momentum. You start building a foundation of confidence because you're making progress in areas that matter. The uncontrollables, they lose their grip on you. Worrying about things you can't influence only drains you. It keeps you stuck running circles in your mind without ever moving forward. Mental toughness is about breaking that cycle. But let's get real, it's not easy. Letting go of control feels like surrender, and nobody likes feeling powerless. But here's the thing, it's not surrender, it's strategy. When you control the controllables, you're not giving up control, you're taking it back. You're deciding what deserves your time, energy, and attention. And that decision is powerful. Look at athletes, performers, or anyone operating under pressure. They succeed not because they control everything, but because they've mastered the art of focusing on what they can influence. They can't control the crowd's reaction or their competitors' performance, but they can control their preparation, their mindset, and their execution. And that's where the magic happens. The same applies to your everyday life. Negative feelings often come from trying to change things you were never meant to change. That person who wronged you, that unexpected setback, that unfair situation, they're not always in your hands. But how you react, that's yours. And every time you choose to respond with intention, you're building resilience. You're training your mind to see challenges, not crises. It's not about ignoring the uncontrollables or pretending they don't exist. It's about acknowledging them without letting them dominate your thoughts. It's about learning to discern where your influence begins and ends. When you embrace this mindset, you become unshakable. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start becoming the architect of your own experience. Negative feelings are inevitable. They show up uninvited and settle in like they own the place. But here's the secret: the power they hold over you isn't in their existence, it's in the story you attach to them. Mental toughness isn't about avoiding negativity, it's about learning to reframe it. It's about taking control of the narrative in your mind and flipping the script so that what once weighed you down becomes the very thing that lifts you up. Let's start with the basics. Negative feelings often stem from the way we interpret situations, not the situations themselves. You fail a test, and the story you tell yourself is, I'm not good enough. Someone criticizes you, and the narrative becomes, they're right, I'll never succeed. But what if you rewrote those stories? What if failure became proof that you're trying, and criticism became an opportunity to grow? The facts don't change, but the meaning does, and meaning is everything. Reframing the narrative starts with awareness. You have to catch those automatic thoughts, those knee-jerk reactions that spiral you into negativity. It's not enough to just feel bad and move on. You need to ask yourself, what story am I telling myself right now? And is it helping me or hurting me? That simple question can change everything. It gives you a pause, a moment to challenge the negativity instead of accepting it as truth. Think of your mind as a lens. When you're in a negative headspace, everything you see is filtered through doubt, fear, and insecurity. It's like looking through dirty glasses. Nothing looks clear and everything feels off. But when you clean the lens, when you reframe the narrative, you start to see the situation for what it really is, not what your emotions make it out to be. For example, setbacks aren't signs that you're failing, they're reminders that you're pushing boundaries. Stress isn't always the enemy sometimes. It's a sign that you're growing, stepping outside your comfort zone. Even fear can be reframed. It's not a signal to stop. It's a sign that what you're doing matters. The emotions don't disappear, but their impact shifts. They go from being barriers to becoming tools. This isn't just a mental exercise, it's a muscle you have to build. Every time you catch yourself spiraling into negativity and choose to reframe, you're strengthening that muscle. Over time, it becomes second nature. Instead of defaulting to self-doubt or frustration, you start defaulting to curiosity, resilience, and determination. And let's be honest, this takes courage. It's not easy to look at a tough situation and find the silver lining, but that's what separates those who stay stuck from those who rise above. When you reframe the narrative, you're not ignoring reality, you're taking control of it. You're deciding that negative feelings won't define you or dictate your actions. Instead, they become stepping stones, guiding you toward growth, strength, and success. Struggle is a part of life. It's uncomfortable, messy, and sometimes painful, but here's the truth, it's also the birthplace of growth. Mental toughness doesn't come from avoiding struggle, it comes from leaning into it, from facing challenges head on instead of running from them. The more you embrace the struggle, the more it shapes you, not into someone who's simply surviving, but into someone who's thriving despite the odds. Think about it. Every time you encounter resistance, whether it's in your personal life, your career, or your relationships, you're faced with a choice. You can see the struggle as an obstacle, something unfair that's standing in your way. Or you can see it as a test, a challenge designed to make you stronger, sharper, and more resilient. The way you frame the struggle determines how you face it. Struggle is like a weight in the gym. At first it feels heavy, maybe even impossible to lift. But with time and effort, your muscles adapt. They grow stronger, and what once seemed insurmountable becomes manageable. That's exactly how mental toughness works. Struggle is the weight you lift to strengthen your mind. Every hardship, every setback, every ounce of discomfort is an opportunity to build resilience. But here's the catch: embracing the struggle doesn't mean pretending it's easy. It doesn't mean putting on a brave face and ignoring the pain. No, it's about acknowledging the difficulty while choosing to push forward anyway. It's about understanding that the very things you want to avoid, the failures, the rejections, the uncomfortable truths, are the things that will ultimately shape you into the person you're meant to be. Struggle also teaches you something invaluable: patience. We live in a world that glorifies quick fixes and instant results, but real growth takes time. When you embrace the struggle, you learn to trust the process. You realize that progress isn't always linear, that setbacks are part of the journey, not the end of it. This patience becomes your superpower. It keeps you grounded when things aren't going your way, reminding you that every step forward, no matter how small, is still progress. And let's not forget the lesson struggle brings. Every challenge you face is a teacher. It forces you to dig deeper, to find solutions you didn't know you were capable of. It humbles you, reminding you that you don't have all the answers, and that's okay. Struggle pushes you out of your comfort zone and into a space where growth happens. It's in the discomfort that you discover your strength. When you embrace the struggle, you also become more adaptable. Life doesn't come with a script that's unpredictable, full of twists and turns. Struggle prepares you for those moments. It teaches you to be flexible, to pivot when necessary, and to keep moving forward even when the path ahead is unclear. The more you face challenges, the less afraid you become of them. Instead of seeing struggle as something to avoid, you start seeing it as a stepping stone to something greater. Struggle reveals character. It strips away the superficial and shows you who you really are. It's easy to stay positive and motivated when everything is going your way. But when the pressure is on, when the odds are stacked against you, that's when your true self emerges. Embracing the struggle is about stepping into that pressure, not as a victim, but as a warrior ready to fight for what matters most.